Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am behind today. I got way behind today. But the one good thing is I don't have to do baseball tonight, but we've got several games this week. I was glad to have a little break tonight. The first thing I want to show you is from Jonathan D, and this is big news. Remember, today is a bad market day. But that is not seeing the forest for the trees. And I'm looking at this, why don't I follow CoinDesk? That's weird because I know I follow CoinDesk. It's like it automatically unfollowed CoinDesk or something because I've followed that for a long time. That's weird. Okay, well anyway, today they update the OCC and SEC came out with like a letter update following the OCC's guidance. The SEC says some stablecoins might not be securities, but urged issuers to work with the regulator. So these kind of letters are really boring, but I just want you to get the gist out of it. And the gist is they're issuing guidance on stablecoins, and they're letting you know that stablecoins, a lot of them are not going to be called securities. And so first they start out talking about how the OCC said something, but to me, the most important part of this is where the SEC says, according to the statement, the SEC is willing to publish a no action letter, which would assure the recipient that the regulator would not bring an enforcement action against the company. So people that are out there, creating stable coins, like coins that are tied to the US dollar, for instance, they can go to the SEC and possibly be issued a no action letter by the OCC, and it would not be a security going forward. And then Brian Brooks came in and he said, rapid growth of stablecoin projects may signal a blockchain-enabled payment system of the future. OCC is pleased to provide guidance to banks supporting these assets. Thanks to our SEC colleagues for inviting no action requests from stablecoin developers and issuers. That's pretty interesting because they're working together. And let me tell you, hold on a second. I've got a sweatshirt on right now because it was kind of chilly this morning and I am just getting hot. Hold on one second. I'm taking this thing off. It was in this part of the world. It's just now you're starting to see a little bit of fall, or at least the feel of some fall weather. And I've had this thing on all day and I didn't need to. It's just too hot. Okay. Now, this kind of goes in line with this. I saw this tweet today from this XRP Crypto Quebec, and I wanted to remind you, and in the video this morning, Roger Ver kind of touched on this because Roger Ver, when Ripple got fined by FinCen in 2015, as I recall, a part of it was when Roger Ver got in trouble or Ripple and Roger Ver got in trouble for Roger Ver buying $250,000 worth of XRP and not going through proper KYC and all. But here's the important thing that you should understand out of this FinCen ruling from 2015 with Ripple, and this lays it all out. They call XRP over and over and over a virtual currency, virtual currency exchanger, and is selling its virtual currency. XRP2 later assumed Ripple Labs functions of selling virtual currency. And then here, virtual currency exchangers must bring products to market that comply. Ripple Labs and its wholly owned subsidiary both have acknowledged that digital currency. We hope that this sets an industry standard in the important new space of digital currency, virtual currency arena. Ripple Labs, headquartered in San Francisco, facilitated transfers of virtual currency and provided virtual currency exchange transaction services. Requirement for certain participants in the virtual currency arena, namely virtual currency exchangers and administrators, to register as MSBs with FinCen pursuant to federal law. So you can see here, and I've always thought, but because remember, what we're all told is that the SEC, they just can't get their arms around they haven't decided what XRP is. I believe it was decided in this document here. And I believe that this is the document that Ripple has held on to since 2015. And I believe this is the document that has allowed them to sell XRP and do everything else and operate out in the open without getting any trouble, because I believe that they can point to this, and they will point to this all along, as virtual currency. You told us we were a currency then. This is a government agency. You took that FinCen as a subsidiary is a part of the U.S. Treasury Department. Remember. So, and I think they may have it on the letterhead. Let's go back and look. United States Department of the Treasury, FinCen, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. All right. So from the U.S. Treasury, they were called a virtual currency basically about 10 times in that document. And I believe that that's why we sit here today and XRP has not declared anything, because I believe the declaration was right here, right in everybody's face. And ever since then, because remember, the OCC is also in the U.S. Treasury. Both of these are. So the OCC and then SEC, once this is called a currency, it's quite possible that it was out of the SEC's purview at that point. All right. Chinu Patel sent me this. President, we're seeing it right now, folks. You are watching. I don't care what happened in the market today. All I did was bought the dip. In fact, I bought some Stellar today, just as an FYI. I also bought some gold. Now, but you're seeing what's important happen all around you, and it's not on CoinMarketCap. Remember, the price is a distraction. The value's in the protocol. What's important is two things. One, buying the dip and looking at the big picture, and you're watching the big picture unfold all around us. President of the ECB, Christine Lagarde, says the ECB will open consultation on digital euro within days. She recently suggested that the Eurozone central bankers are close to making a decision on whether to press ahead with the development of a CBDC. I'll bet you they've already made the thing. And then Tyler Winklevoss had put this out. Bitcoin is better at being gold than gold, and not just incrementally, but by an order of magnitude, or 10 times better. And they got a pretty interesting little chart. Scarcity fixed. And gold is scarce, but as the Winklevoss brothers said, we could be mining asteroids one day, in which case it won't be scarce at all. Durability, software. Gold is hardware. Portability, can be sent anywhere in the world via the internet, just like email. 25 pounds per bar. Divisibility, and there's the divisibility of Bitcoin, and then a troy ounce. Storage, digital wallet, safe, or vault. Counterfeit, prohibitively expensive, has not occurred to date, difficult but possible. Adoption, the market cap of 200 billion, market cap of 9 trillion USD for gold. Lot of room to grow there, folks. All right, this was sent to me. It was in response to this thing I did this morning. Desiree Moreno. This is an interesting thing. In Barron's, life after cash. The current events finally ended the reign of bills and coins. Why stocks of PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa are primed for long-term gains. And I believe that too, by the way, because PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa have all planned for this blockchain revolution. They are all ready. Trust you me. CStat sent me this. This is why the stock markets and all the markets except for the US dollar went down today. Confidential U.S. government documents show big banks moved allegedly illicit funds. And they name some of the banks right here. HSBC. 5 global banks appeared the most often in the documents. And this is all around money laundering. JP Morgan was there. And so I decided I saw this right here. Bitcoin is a fraud. I decided I would tweet this out and highlight that, because remember, Jamie Dimon and all the powers that be, they said Bitcoin and crypto is a fraud for the last 7 years. That's all we've heard. And now we see who was actually involved in money laundering and all of this is the banks themselves. So which is it, folks? I think we know which it is. This is I'll play you a little bit of this from Julia Chatterley about all this.
Talking about their shares of major banks dropping amid money laundering allegations. It's based on leaked suspicious activity reports filed by banks themselves to the US Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. So we're talking Deutsche Bank, Standard Chartered, Barclays, HSBC, as well as several US banks, all named in the documents first obtained by BuzzFeed. Anna Stewart has all the details. Anna, you get all the easy jobs on this show. This is really complicated. Just explain first, I think, what the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is and what the scale of these allegations are, because these banks have paid a lot of fines in the past and it's tough to see what's old, what potentially could be new. Give us the deets.
It's incredibly complex, and I think we'll be teasing this out over many days as you get into individual banks and stories and so on. But
I'm not going to go into any more of that. I think you get the gist of it. It's been all over the news today. But the bottom line is, the truth of the deal is that a digital asset that is mathematically in limited amount, just as Miguel Valles said about a week or so ago in a video I played for you, it can't be manipulated. You can create more stocks. You can have more bonds. You can manipulate just about every investment there is except certain hard assets. And I think crypto might be the hardest of them all because it's mathematical. All right. So now this is pure craziness, and this shows you more manipulation. The fact that the US dollar was green today, or any day for that matter, with all the money printing they've been doing, is absolute insanity, and it shows you that they're still in control of manipulating this system. But look, that game of monetary musical chairs at some point comes to an end. And the only thing that I'm comfortable, I can't imagine anybody being comfortable buying anything right now except precious metals, crypto that has a limited amount, and paid for real estate. Those are the only things that I'm interested in any way. And this makes the point. I don't know if you remember, those of you that were around in the dot-com bubble, this first statement here, there are companies worth billions trading at 500 times earnings. That's what was going on in the dot-com bubble before it burst, is those tech companies trading with PE ratios, crazy PE ratios, and it all eventually collapsed. The same will happen here. It's just a matter of time. Endless money printing has forced investors to look for yield as bond markets are fixed. All right. Now, Jim Rickards came in and added some sense to the equation. Reminder, when stocks tank, gold goes down as leveraged players sell gold for cash to meet margin calls on stock losses and other illiquid positions. Once it's down enough, the strong hands pounce and gold rallies again. I believe he's exactly right, but it won't just be gold. It's going to be crypto. So if you look at these type days as anything other than buying opportunities, especially with all the craziness going on in this world, you just aren't thinking. Now, I wanted to play, I forgot to play you this other clip. This is XRP Army News Community Channel. Give him a subscribe. There was one more clip from Roger Ver where he talks about what he thinks is going to happen with crypto adoption. I wanted you to watch this.
It's looking pretty grim out there.
Yeah, I think the writing is on the wall. Cryptocurrencies are here to stay. They are not going anywhere. And at the end of the day, the ones that are the most useful to the most number of people are going to be the ones that have the most success. And to be useful to a lot of people, you have to have fast, cheap, reliable payments as well. And you have to have a big network effect. And so the way I see it right now, Bitcoin has the biggest network effect and the biggest market cap and the most liquidity, but an absolutely horrible user experience. For anybody that's tried sending or receiving Bitcoin, that user experience is horrible. XRP has a really, really good user experience, but a much, much smaller network effect in terms of the amount of merchants and wallets and exchanges and that sort of thing that are using it. And the amount of liquidity there is much smaller. Bitcoin Cash is in there with a smaller network effect and less liquidity, but a fantastic user experience as well. And then you have other coins like Monero, like that one's really, really interesting as well with a really strong privacy right there. But it almost makes me wonder if it's too strong a privacy. And so we've already seen different exchanges in different countries be forbidden by the government from listing Monero because the privacy is so strong. So, but I think it's great that we have Bitcoin and XRP and Monero and Bitcoin Cash and all these things, because eventually one of them or multiple of them are going to have a real big breakthrough into mainstream adoption and usage around the world. And that's a fantastic thing, because then people won't be dependent on these central bankers. They can print as much money at any time for any reason and give it out to all their political buddies, while the rest of us have the money that we have devalued. And that's a big, giant problem for the world. And cryptocurrencies have the ability to solve that problem. So that's why
he really has a problem with the government. But the truth is, I have the same problem. Now, I don't have the problem to the extent that I'm going to move to Japan like he did and not want anything to do with the United States. But he makes many valid points there. And another point he made that's very valid, and it's the reason I've never bought any of these privacy coins, is because I believe governments will crack down on them at some point. And I don't want any part of that. I want to be on the clean side of everything. So I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to be careful with all those privacy coins. Just my opinion. Thanks for listening.
Every day, billions of people around the world are mocked, ridiculed, laughed at, and embarrassed by their friends, family, and even strangers. These people go through their days knowing there are secrets being kept from them. They hear the faint whispers behind closed doors. The information and knowledge is held very close and only shared with others who were fortunate enough to find out. Feeling lost, rejected, and ostracized, these people give up, never finding out what digital assets the digital asset investor holds. But there is hope. Join the free Digital Asset Investor email newsletter and find out what digital assets he owns each month, including investments he's considering. Click the link in the description of this video or go to digitalassetinvestornewsletter.com. Put an end to your days of gloom and depression. Join the greatest free digital asset email newsletter ever created.